Wait, there's an election right now? Hey, quick question. Did you know there's a congressional election happening in New Jersey in 14 days? No? Yeah, that's the problem. Most people think elections only happen in November. Every 4 years for president, every 2 years for Congress. That's the schedule, right? Wrong. Welcome back to LawdUp. I'm about to explain what a special election is, why one is happening right now in New Jersey, and why it matters even if you don't live there. Your laws, your vote, your power. Let's get into it. So here's something civics class probably skipped. Congress has 535 seats, 435 in the House, 100 in the Senate, and every once in a while, one of these seats goes empty mid-term. Maybe someone dies, maybe they resign. Maybe they win a different election and have to leave. When that happens, you can't just leave the seat empty until the next scheduled election. That district loses its representation in Congress. Nobody's voting on bills on their behalf. Nobody's in the room. So the government calls a special election, basically an emergency do-over outside the normal November schedule to fill that one specific seat. And that is exactly what's happening right now in New Jersey's 11th congressional district. This one's actually a fun little domino chain. First, New Jersey elected a new governor last November. Her name is Mikey Sherrill. She was already serving in Congress representing the 11th district. Then, she won the governor's race. Great for her. But now, she can't be governor and stay in Congress at the same time. So she had to resign her House seat in November of 2025. That left the 11th district without a representative. No one voting on their behalf in the House. So that led us here. The governor called a special election to fill it. That's it. That's the whole chain. One election caused another election. Democracy is basically a chain reaction sometimes. Okay, so who's actually on the ballot? Two main candidates. On one side, Ana Lilia Mejia. She's a progressive organizer and community activist. She actually pulled off a surprise win in the February primary over a crowded field, including a former congressman. She's been endorsed by many of her peers in Congress. Her platform centers on workers' rights, healthcare access, and pushing back on what she calls rising authoritarianism. On the other side, Joe Hathaway. He's a councilman and former mayor from Randolph, New Jersey. He's positioning himself as the moderate, common-sense candidate. He supports standing with Israel, opposes what he calls government overreach, and has painted his opponent as too far-leaning for the district. Both candidates right now are calling the other an extremist, which honestly is just another Tuesday in American politics. The district, covering parts of Essex, Morris, and Passaic counties, has historically leaned Democratic and favored moderate candidates. Political experts expect Mejia to win, but low turnout in special elections can flip outcomes. More on that in a second. Here's the part that people always underestimate. Right now, Republicans control the House of Representatives by just a handful of seats. We're talking single digits. They can only afford to lose 2 or 3 seats before losing the majority entirely. The margin is so thin that every single seat changes the math on what can even be passed. Committee chairs, which bill gets a vote, who has subpoena power, whether investigations happen or get buried, all of that flows from which party controls the majority, and the majority can shift with just a few seats. Now I know 1 seat doesn't sound like much, but in a chamber this close, 1 seat is the difference between legislation moving and legislation dying on the table. This is what we mean when we say your vote matters at the local and state level. The House isn't some far-off thing happening in Washington, D.C. It's 435 people whose job is to pass or block the laws that affect your healthcare, your taxes, your student loans, and your housing costs. Right now, one of those 435 seats has nobody in it. If you're in New Jersey's 11th district, Essex, Morris, or Passaic counties, here's what you need to know right now. Early voting is happening April 6th through April 14th. That's less than a week away. You can walk in and vote early at designated locations in your county during that window. Election day is Thursday, April 16th. Yes, Thursday, not Tuesday. Special elections don't always follow the usual schedule, which is another reason so many people miss them. Mail-in voting is also an option. Check your county election website for the deadline on that. Go to vote.org right now to check your registration and find your polling place. Takes 2 minutes. Here's the truth about special elections. Turnout is almost always low, like embarrassingly low, which means the people who do show up have outsized power. Your vote in a special election carries more weight than almost any other election you'll ever vote in. If you're in New Jersey, District 11, this is your moment. If you're not, you just learned what a special election is, why they happen, and why they matter. And now you can explain it to somebody else. That's what we're here for. Subscribe so you don't miss the June 2nd primary breakdown. That one covers all 12 New Jersey congressional seats, and it's going to be a big one. Share this video with someone in New Jersey who doesn't know this election is happening, literally right now. That's the move. Your laws, your vote, your power.